Hey guys, welcome back to Modern Country Living. It's Sean. I am on a big adventure right now. So I'm going to show you a picture, and here you'll see my excavator loaded up on my deck over gooseneck trailer. My father-in-law needed some work done, and I'm always up for using the excavator, so had to make a little 3-hour pull with it. And had the trailer inspected. It's heavy-duty gooseneck trailer, well within the rated capacity of it. But sometimes life turns you into a sugar cookie. So check out this picture right here. So we got on the interstate, and I stopped at a rest stop about 4 miles after getting on the interstate. Checked all the tires. Everything seemed to be the same all the way around, truck and trailer. Everything was pulling beautifully. So we pulled out of the rest stop. Everybody did their thing. We got in the truck. Away we go. And about 4 more miles down the road, it sounded like a grenade went off, and it looked like one. The right rear tire on the gooseneck trailer exploded. And it was like a bomb went off. So we were actually very fortunate that the area was a construction zone, and they had one lane blocked off with the, not the cones, but those plastic upright, kind of caution, don't go in this lane things. So we swung into the lane that was closed. There was no work going on there, and pulled off to the side of the road, and started to figure out what the game plan was going to be. So the game plan was we wanted to change the tire and put on the spare. Thank God I have a spare tire. And by some divine intervention, before I left the house, I put a breaker bar and the appropriate size socket and extension in the truck, just in case, right? Like, it's kind of like having an umbrella. If you are going on a trip, likely you won't need it, but you got it if you need it. Well, fortunately, we had that breaker bar, and we were able to be off the road enough that I felt pretty safe. It's still kind of sketchy when you got tractor trailers and traffic moving by you at 60 plus miles an hour, but I was thankful we were off the road. The next thing that we had to really deal with was, just dealing with some traffic here, was the fact that the lug nuts on the trailer were on there pretty tight. Now again, I just had the trailer inspected this week. Everything was good. I told them I'm taking it on a big trip. They said everything looked beautiful. The trailer is stored indoors, so no dry rotting, sun rotting of tires, anything like that. But I don't know. So we started to work on trying to get the lug nuts loose, and it took everything I had. I actually ended up basically standing on the breaker bar in order to break the lug nuts loose. And then I had to get the trailer up in the air. So for that, we fired up the excavator, and I had enough room where I could maneuver over the side and actually push up with the excavator chain the trailer, and I could lift that side of the trailer up so that I could get the tire off. And I thought at that point I really had everything licked, but sometimes you're a sugar cookie. It didn't want to come off. The rim was kind of on the hub, very tight, and I didn't have a hammer, so I'm laying under the trailer. We blocked up the wheel. I had some blocking with me, fortunately, and I got under the trailer and proceeded to use an extra hitch that I have that goes in the receiver. I was using it like a hammer. It's basically like a hammer. And I spent probably a half hour wailing on it, and could barely budge it. Then I ended up getting one of the chains off the excavator and wrapping it around the wheel, making sure I was not behind the drum, and putting pressure, pulling out. I couldn't even pull it off with the excavator. I mean, that's, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of force. So what I ended up doing was putting the pressure on it and getting under the trailer and hammering on it. And after another half hour, 45 minutes, I finally, with the help of my family, which they were awesome, I was able to get the wheel off the actual hub of the axle. We had a very celebratory moment. I'll show you this picture once again. That was a victory pose. We were pumped. So put the spare tire on and proceeded to get everything packed up again and rolling on Interstate 80 heading east towards State College. I'm doing 60 miles an hour. I set the cruise control at 60. I didn't want any further issues. It got dark and we were a mile from one of the exits we could take, and 60 miles an hour, we popped another tire. Well, at that point we were in trouble because there was no way to get off the road. There wasn't a big berm. There was construction coming up. I had to exit. So we put the flashers on. I got out, checked. It was a really sketchy area, but I didn't have a choice. Ended up, looked, and there was Travel Center America, and we proceeded to go about 3 to 5 miles an hour to get to the exit and then over to the Travel Center with the truck garage, riding on a rim with a dead tire on it. Thank God these rims are super heavy duty on this trailer. So the story continues. We got to the truck stop. Their service bay was open and they had one tire, $600 tire. I need two. And given the issue, I really wanted to get all tires replaced. So I'm, now gun shy with what's going on and nervous about the other tires. Life does this to you sometimes. It'll throw you a little bit of a loop, right? Well, got to my mother and father-in-law's and started searching the internet at midnight and came across Shannon's Tire and Automotive in State College, and their website showed that they actually had the tires that I needed, like a 215, 75, 17 and a half in a 16 ply, 14 or 16 heavy tire. Any rate, 7:30 in the morning, get over there, go in, they open up, and they don't have them. Okay, well, you've got several sites. Where's the next place that might have them? And they have a warehouse and distribution center in Bloomsburg, PA, and they have a service center right down the road. Checked on the sizes. I opted to look at getting a larger size with an 18 ply just because I'm going in for a penny, in for a pound. I don't want to deal with this issue. Stopped at the trailer, checked, made sure I had clearance, talked to the service tech at the truck stop. He said, yep, we'll get you all taken care of. And I called Shannon's in Bloomsburg, and they arranged to pull the tires from their distribution center and get them to their site so that I could get them. And now I am driving from Bloomsburg to State College, actually Milesburg, to where my trailer is sitting in a parking lot with my excavator on it, and praying that we can get these tires mounted and get on the way to doing what we need to do. I'll pause there for a breath because this is what life does to you sometimes. You got a plan. You work that plan. You do what you can to confirm that things are going to be good, that you're going to be successful, and stuff happens, you know? Stuff's going to go wrong. And then you've got to figure out what you're going to do in response. And my family really rallied, I'll tell you. I'm so proud of them. I mean, everybody was safe. Everybody worked to help me do what I needed to do. My son and daughter were helping move the chain while I was in the excavator. And, you know, we were successful. And then, you know, another tire blows. It's just what happens. And honestly, a lot of times I get fired up at things, but I just looked at it as an adventure. Sure, I really wish that it hadn't happened. It's costing me a little micro fortune because these hand-cooked tires, 18-ply, heavy-duty ones, I'll show some pictures here. They're not cheap, and I'm buying 5 of them because I don't want any issues. I want everything matched. And then I'm gonna have to pay to get them all mounted at the truck stop. It's a small fortune, but you know, it is what it is. You do what you need to do to move forward, one foot in front of the other, really. So my journey is going to continue. I'm going to take some video, give some updates, hopefully show some excavation footage real quick. But I just want you to know that you can watch videos on YouTube where people present the best parts of their life. You can look at social media and see that, wow, you know, these people, they don't have any issues. Everything's great for them. Everybody's dealing with issues. Everybody's got problems. And yeah, there might be time periods where you feel things are going really well in your favor, or, you know, at least, you know, you're not experiencing a bunch of costly things in life, or your health isn't going bad, things of that nature. But the world is a broken place. It really is. I have no idea why these tires are failing. They look beautiful. I checked the other 2. I see no cracks. Nothing to indicate there's a problem. There's lots of tread. I mean, I rarely use this trailer. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe not being used is the problem. I don't know. But the point being, we're all dealing with stuff at some point in life. And I'm very thankful that I had my family with me. There was just a measure of calmness that they afforded me, their help, their ability to see when I was in the excavator on the trailer, their ability to be down there and looking and observing as I was doing what I needed to do. The fact that I had the excavator on the trailer, you know, versus my tractor. With the excavator, I was able to manipulate things. If my tractor was on there, I'd have been in trouble. Yeah, I probably could have pulled the tractor off, manipulated it around, used chains, lifted up, but I couldn't have been able to pull because I didn't have room to do that with the tractor to try to pull the wheel off. And is it a blessing that the second one blew up? Maybe it is, because now rather than dealing with issues like if it hadn't popped, Sunday morning I'd be going back home, Sunday afternoon some point, whatever, and there's no services, right? There are no services. No one's going to be able to help me out. And I would have, you know, popped another tire or 2, whatever, and been in trouble. So, I don't know, looking on the bright side of it, perhaps having these tires, both of them go versus just one, was a blessing in disguise. So there you have it. You know, we're going to deal with stuff. I'm going to show some video of, you know, getting this thing all set up. I'll show the new tires just because I guess I need to be a little bit proud of these tires since they're not cheap. I'm going to celebrate my new trailer tires, and I'm going to show you some excavation photos and pictures and video, and yeah, just kind of a quick update video. We make things happen. We do stuff. All right. Check out the rest of the footage here. This is the second tire, carnage. Crazy. The new tires.
You get this part off, take another slice here.
Yeah. It's all a matter of, like you said, getting down to the point of when do you start to hit organics and tearing up a blade, but yeah.
But I would think
it's decent size.
it's decent.
Yeah, we'll give it a whirl. First thing first, we're gonna take some dirt out of this thing. So I'm just scraping at it with the ripper there, and lightweight it a little bit, but it actually does want to move, so it should be in good shape. Okay, VMC ripper, and I'm going in here and peeling all this. It is super hard packed dirt in here, working to get it out of there, peel off everything that I can, but I've already manipulated this stump out of the hole. Seems like it's working well. Pretty sure I'll be able to at least pick it up in close, maybe set it on the blade and drive it up on the other side of the garage. But I'm 6 foot tall and this thing is taller than me, so it's a hefty stump. how do you want it positioned, or you want to work on it? I can manipulate it with,
Right.
I know I got to clean the dirt off. Or,
Well, we want to cut off the top log,
yep.
right? And then I'd like to
You good there, or you tell me where?
yeah.
Well, we wrapped up what we needed to do with the excavator. So it's sitting there right now. Tomorrow morning I will load it up, and that way we can get ready to go home. But got my mother and father-in-law's house there, and you can see where the stump was located. Yeah, I mean, again, should have been a easy project. It was an easy project. That was fun. But having the tires blow, that was an experience. Hopefully that was my education in that, and I never experienced it again. But you never know. So just be prepared, kind of the Boy Scout motto, I guess. But yeah, very thankful for the BobCat, the E60 excavator. It did a great job. The VMC frost ripper, that thing came in very handy. I look forward to using it over at my dad's house. We have a bunch of stumps to tear out, and looks like it's going to do a great job. I was wondering if this thing was going to actually lift the stump here, but it did a fine job. I just rested it on the blade and lifted the blade up and hooked it a little bit and walked it right up to where my father-in-law wanted it. So started cutting on the stump a little bit, got the 462 steel chainsaw rocking and rolling, and now we got to go eat dinner. So I took a quick shower, and yeah, there you have it. Let's see what's next. And another project with the E60 Ricky Bobby. Just basically, instead of cutting this tree down, I dug it out and pushed it over. And you can see it's a pretty large ash tree. So, I mean, that's my hand, and that thing's got to be 25 inches in diameter or better. Used the ripper and cut around the backside. The wind's blowing from the north, left some root on that side and pushed it over. Yeah, decent sized tree. Kind of had a lot of Ys on it, so it was fairly wide at the top. So I've been just kind of munching it down so we can get at it with the chainsaw. Turn some of it into firewood. So I think this tree and that tree, or one or both, or whatever my dad wants, we'll rip those out as well. It's pretty impressive.